Hey there, welcome to Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. It's only been 10 days since we had a garden tour, but a lot has changed in my December garden. Now it's December. Today is the 4th of December, and I want to show you what we're doing. Got some projects to do, a little garden maintenance to do, and let's look around. What you see here is pretty much everything in my beds. This is my backyard small garden. That's basically all I do here. I'm in a suburban context. I'm in zone 9 on the Texas coast. It's December, and look what you can grow. You can grow tons of food in December here in Texas. You can grow through the winter, even up into zone 8, maybe even 7, depending on how hard your frosts and freezes are. We typically don't get hard freezes here. We did last year. It knocked everything back, but yeah, we can grow generally through the entire year here in Texas. And if you want to learn how to garden like this, just a backyard garden, follow my channel and I'll teach you how to do these kinds of things. Well, that's some crazy wind, isn't it? Look at that. It's a nice fig. Starting to split. This is ripe. This is Canandria yellow. I expected them to be yellow, but they're not. And I just ate one, and they're really good. Look at that. Super juicy. This fig has more of a honey-like flavor. Look at all that juice in there. One of the things that I need to take care of is to get a trellis system of some sort built for my peas here. These sugar snap peas, they're getting tall, and they're going to start flopping over if they don't have something to grab onto. So out comes the jute twine. We're just going to make a real simple little string trellis for these peas. These peas, they're starting to flop over, and their tendrils are starting to grab onto each other. So we need to give them something to grab onto. They're getting about the size where I need to trellis them up. They're about, about 8 inches tall. So we'll put our first string about 6 inches tall and let these tendrils start to wrap around it. And I'm just going to run string between some metal posts. It doesn't have to be real high. These won't get real big. And but I want them to have something to grow on. Last year in the winter, I put some of my sugar snap peas in tomato cages, and that was okay, but it wasn't sufficient. And I had a lot of those peas flopping over on themselves. I still got some good peas, but yeah, that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to pound in my end posts really well. These here in the garden are more for weight support rather than tension back and forth. Plus the soil in the garden is not real firm. Let's see here. I borrowed this from my wife, who graciously let me use her crafting supplies. I'm just going to use some jute twine. Got to figure out how to get this off where it starts. Man, you'd think I'd know, huh? Well, let's just start pulling. Let's see, right about there. We'll tie this down real tight. Just wrap it around. Just wrap it around. That'll hold. All right, so what this does is gives these plants something to grab onto, and you can help them out a little bit by putting the tendrils up there as they get bigger. And that's what I'll be doing, just kind of lifting these plants up and letting them find the string there. Pull this Bermuda grass out of here while we're here. And I'm going to put another couple of string levels here so we can have something for these guys to climb on.
Hey, Phoebe, what are you doing? What's up with you? Good girl. Oh, yeah. You're a good dog.
Simple, simple, simple. All right, our peas now have about a foot of trellis to grow on. I'll come back later and add more, but what we'll do is just start directing them, helping them find the trellis by hitching leaves over them. The wind will probably blow some of these off, but when they get a little bit bigger, we can come out and maybe use a little twine and help these guys out. But this one here, keeping its hands to itself. So I don't want to do that. We'll just loop them around and help them climb. This is what you can grow in December in Zone 9A. This is celery. Celery's looking good. Not growing very fast, but that's to be expected. And pick weeds as we go. Look at these daikon radishes. These guys are filling this space. Just 10 days ago they were not touching. That's incredible. These daikon radishes over here doing quite well. I've noticed all these holes. This is probably mollusk damage, snails and such. So we'll come out and put some iron phosphate pellets out here. That'll knock those snails back a bit. And yeah, so, well, that's not a good leaf. This is tatsoi. And it's got something, well, that's just another leaf, a dead leaf. Tatsoi. The snails like tatsoi also, but this is a good Asian green, and it's coming in real nice. Over here we've got some more daikons, and they're starting to put on roots actually. Different kind of daikon. Yeah, look at these. We spaced these out and thinned them. We thinned all this, and we could probably come and thin again. But I need to get some snail bait out here because the snails, man, who wants to eat greens with snail holes in them? Not me. Look at that one right there. Tons of snail damage. Cabbages looking good. They also attract the snails. Carrots down there. Carrots are starting to get indistinguishable from the chickweed in here. This chickweed is really starting to pick up. Now you can eat this chickweed. It makes a nice salad green. But you can see the carrots are here. They'll do fine. That's not too much competition from that chickweed. This is my last bit of sweet potatoes. They're still doing fine, but the leaves are starting to yellow. And I know that there's some sweet potatoes down in there because I can feel them when I put my fingers down in there. In fact, you can maybe see that one right there. Yep, there's some sweet potatoes in there. I'm going to let those go a little longer. See how we can bulk these potatoes out. These are volunteers. These, actually, those were planted in there as a couple of slips, but the ones in that bucket are volunteers. The vine went over and it rooted itself, so that's good. Isn't that right, Phoebe? You like sweet potatoes? You like sweet potatoes? Yes, ma'am. Herb garden's still going strong. I got a bunch of bunching onions coming up, and yeah, I find them coming up volunteer. Where did I see one? Well, there's some volunteers out there somewhere in the garden. Bunching onions, man. Always nice to have green onions in your garden. So I'm real pleased. This is my favorite time of year for gardening. December, winter gardening. Everything's just so nice. It's not blistering hot out here. We got a free rain this morning. Free irrigation for the garden, so everybody perks up. Got some herbs in here, some cilantro and parsley. And now's the season to grow this cilantro. I'll have to freeze some and put it away. But yeah, man, my favorite time of year. Let me show you my other project. I've been filling this raised bed here. This is a birdie's raised bed. I also built a veggie garden raised bed with a similar design. It's the better quality product, actually. This doesn't have the feel of that veggie garden bed. But this is the one I bought and put back here. It's doing its job. And I've been filling this bed with expired potting soil from the plants that died in the winter last winter and have just been sitting around. There's probably a lot of weeds down in here, but I filled the bottom of this with like a hugelkultur style of bed. There's a lot of sticks, branches from my Meyer lemon tree that were dead, and various garbage from the gardening debris. It's down on the bottom, and I didn't line the bottom. I am trusting that this soil will smother out all that bottom weedy growth. We're going to get weeds in here because there were weeds in some of the pots that I put in here, but that's okay. We can handle weeds. Then I'm going to top it off with some fresh gardening soil, and we're going to fertilize this real well with an organic compost type fertilizer, some of our fetid swamp water that we have, and I'm going to let this sit through the winter. In the spring, I'm going to try to grow some things in here, and I'm thinking bulbing onion start. I've ordered some bulbing onion starts from Dixondale Farms, and I got their sampler pack for the south. We got to grow a certain, I think it's a short day onion down here in the south. So I've got some. We're going to probably put them in here. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, this is a project looking forward to the spring, and I'm real happy about it.
How you doing, Phoebe? Huh? Oh, that's a good dog.
That's a good girl. So David the Good over on his channel, he has been experimenting with camera lenses and vintage camera lenses on his Canon 80D. So he's a modern digital camera with vintage glass, and it gives you kind of an artistic look. I'm sort of a photo buff myself. I do photography. I've shot photography on all kinds of cameras. In fact, I collect some vintage cameras and still shoot film and develop my own film. Yeah, all of these are functional cameras. And I shoot film and develop my own. This little lens right here, this is a Soviet lens, and I use this lens on the camera I'm actually filming with, and it goes to a camera like this, a Fed or a Zorky. These are Leica copies, and they're very high quality cameras actually. Shooting film, got a collection of film up here. It really ought to be in the refrigerator or the freezer, but I do use the film pretty quickly. So I think I'm going to try some of that in my garden as well. My camera is a Lumix. It's a 4/3 sized camera. It has interchangeable lenses. I really like this camera, real versatile camera. And it takes certain lenses that are vintage. And I have shot some of my footage on vintage Soviet era lenses from the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s. And I just think it's fun. It's a good way to kind of capture the beauty of a garden in an artistic manner. So I'm going to take David up on that. I'm going to tell you all sometimes if I'm shooting a vintage lens, I'll show it to you. And if you're into that, well, I'm kind of into that. Maybe you'll enjoy it. Another project update, my sweet potatoes. They have been curing here in the garage, and they're almost ready. And I think I showed you this one. I accidentally hit this one with a fork. But you can see how the wounds start to scar over as it cures. You can keep these and you can eat this sweet potato even though you cut into it. The rest of these are beautiful though. Wonderful. Awesome. Well, there's not a whole lot going on. December is a rather slow grow month, but I wanted to show you what is going on, show you some little projects we've got going here, and just visit with y'all again. I like posting videos because you guys like to comment, and I appreciate that. If you want to chat back and forth with me, leave a comment down below, and if I don't respond, please know that I actually read all the comments, every single one of them. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's a pleasure in life to get to know you all. So I invite you to subscribe to my channel and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. But really, if you want to ask me a question, the comment section down below, that's where to do it, because I look at that every day. I don't always look at my Facebook page, and I'll be honest with you, I don't always, I'm not real good at responding on Facebook, but here on the channel, I am. So, hey, I bought all my seeds for spring. I'm going to do a spring garden planning video. The time to start your spring seeds in my area is in January. We're going to begin our seeds indoors under the lights, and I'll show you what I'm going to grow. It's not too late to start planning ahead, even though we haven't even got a harvest from our fall/winter garden. So, hey, y'all have happy gardening. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.